Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Peter here. Today's video is Tobacco Oud by Tom Ford. I've smelled this a few times going through the airports, and in general I'm not particularly a fan of tobacco, but when I smelled this one I was actually pleasantly surprised. I actually quite like it. I'm not sure if it's enough to want to buy it, but I do like it, and yeah, we'll get into it. So the opening, you get this kind of rich, authentic smelling warm tobacco, but there's a spice there, it's a little bit spiced, and a sweetness. It's listed that there's a whiskey accord in here. Personally, I don't smell any whiskey at all, which is a good thing because I wouldn't like it if I could smell whiskey. But I do get a warm, syrupy kind of sweetness, in the same vein that, you know, when I smell things like CH Man Privé, which is meant to be whiskey, and it just smells kind of syrupy sweet, and people jump on it and say, oh, that's the whiskey note. I kind of don't get that. It's the same with this. I smell a syrupy sweetness, but it doesn't smell remotely like whiskey. But I get this warm, syrupy sweetness coated with this authentic, aromatic tobacco, like pipe tobacco, and just this smooth kind of spice that smells just really good. It smells very cozy and inviting and warm and rich and dark. I don't think it's for everybody. I think it would be a little bit polarizing, but I think it works pretty well. I think it leans more masculine just because it is a little bit more intense, but I think the right woman could smell pretty great in this, especially if she's got dark hair. I would imagine for some reason a blonde might struggle with this because it's so thick and heavy and dark, but a dark brunette, I think with the right personality would definitely pull this off. So it's not completely masculine. I still think it could be a little bit unisex for some people. As it dries down, it gets a little bit more ambery and resinous and warm. I feel like the oud accord in here is more of a synthetic sweet kind of oud. It's not like a dirty oud or barnyard in any way. It's kind of a sweet, smooth, more resinous oud, if you want to call it oud. But yeah, it's very nice, it's very warm, it's very rich, but it reminds me of a mature gentleman. It doesn't smell like a young person's fragrance to me. I see an older man, more mature, quite well dressed. Maybe he has a nice manor house or something, and he's lounging by the fire, drinking his whiskey and smoking a cigar, you know, and he's made his fortune. This is kind of the vibe or the imagination that it gives me. So it does smell quite luxurious and expensive, even though it does smell quite synthetic. I know that's kind of I have the same deal with Tuscan leather. Tuscan leather smells super artificial and not natural in any way, but it still smells quite rich and an expensive kind of luxurious kind of vibe to it, even though it doesn't smell real. I get the same vibe with this. It's got something about it that's just a little bit more classy and more refined, even though it's not particularly all that natural. And what I mean by it's not particularly all that natural is just the sweetness that it has doesn't smell natural. As it develops into the mid, I get quite a bit of sandalwood coming through, which is quite nice. It works really well with the tobacco and the sweetness, and the sandalwood just makes it a little bit more classy, I think, is what gives it the more expensive, luxurious kind of vibe that it gives me of an older gentleman. I think the sandalwood really helps that, just to give it a little bit more maturity and interest and depth. I think without the sandalwood accord I wouldn't really like it as much. I think that really helps a lot to boost the fragrance and to smell really good. In terms of performance, this one, although it is quite intense, I feel like the projection is modest, at least on my skin. It's not like crazy beast mode like Tobacco Vanille. It sits a little bit closer in your space, even though if you smell it close it is intense. And the longevity is on my skin was around 5 hours, which it's okay, but I would just say it's modest. It's not super long lasting on me. Obviously skin chemistry, and maybe if I sprayed it with a full bottle it would last a couple of hours longer. I'm just using a small sample here. So yeah, 5 maybe 6 hours longevity, modest projection. In terms of scent development, it doesn't really change all that much. It's relatively linear, like I say, maybe a little bit more ambery as it dries down. But that's it. I actually really like it. I think it smells really good, and I would say this is my second favourite Tom Ford behind Tuscan Leather. It's definitely rich, warm and cosy, kind of a winter night. It might be a little bit limited as to when and how often you would reach to wear it, but it does warm you up and smells pretty cosy. I like it. Which says a lot, because usually I don't like tobacco fragrances, so there you go. One I approve of, thumbs up. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you again very soon with the next one. Take care guys, bye bye.